Pie in the Sky Media.
Yeah, I'm going to leave that
Stop.
in.
No.
I'm leaving it in.
No.
I'm leaving it in. Okay. So what would you, is this like James Spader from like, what was that? He wasn't in 16 Cat, Pretty in Pink.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's a,
So cute.
I think it's
James
a James
Spader.
Spader
Okay.
Pretty in Pink, where all those high
Uh-huh.
school kids looked 30 and like were wearing suits to high school.
I know, but he was like, and he ended up being the asshole, right?
Of
He was
course.
like,
Yeah, he was a bad guy.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. I think that's what
Yeah,
I got
so
going on. Welcome back, Criminal Mischief Nation, to another bonus episode of Criminal Mischief with Carolyn and Brandon. I'm your co-host, Brandon Morgan, along with the great Carolyn Ossorio. Hello, Carolyn. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Yeah, good. You have a good week?
Yeah, had a great week. Actually a really, I know we always do this and it's like, yeah, but
Yeah.
I actually had a really great week. So
All right. Good to hear.
how about you? How about you?
Yeah. Nothing spectacular, except the weather here in Los Angeles has been breathtaking. Amazing. I spent an hour today feeding squirrels that just crawl up onto my lap. It was great. And then,
Oh my gosh.
work stuff. My daughter got into the private school that she tested into, so we're very happy with her.
Is this the youngest one going to the same one as the older one?
Yeah, so you can imagine the anxiety my wife and I were feeling. Like if one kid gets in and the other one doesn't.
Well, come on, let's
No.
Oh, right.
No, okay, I'm just telling you, it's academic standards. That's all it is. It's four things that they judge. It's your junior high transcripts.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Letters of recommendation from your teachers and counselors. How you avail yourself during the interview without your parents. And
As it should be.
and the entrance exam. Yeah.
Well,
Like, that's it.
congratulations. This is little Delilah. Congratulations.
This is little D, baby D. Yeah.
Well,
So
good job.
she's
Anyway, I don't want to take anything away from her by saying that her older sister, being a younger sister,
Over
she
the
got
moon,
in on
yeah.
her own merit, but
She did. She actually did better than her older sister on the test.
does she know that?
She does.
Does
The
the
older-
older one know that?
No. No.
Oh, yeah.
No. I
Keep
don't want her
that.
to, I don't want her to burn the fucking house down. So
Good call.
yeah, my
Good
oldest
call,
is
Papa.
extraordinarily competitive, and it would piss her off. So
Mhm.
it'll come out in a fight down the road sometime over like a borrowed skirt or something. Fuck you.
Oh,
Well,
you
guess
know it.
what? I did better than you on the entrance exam.
Oh, yeah.
Dad! Yeah, it'll be crazy. So I'm waiting for that to happen.
I'm surprised it hasn't happened already.
I know. You want to hear a bad thing though is that her best friend didn't get into the school, and she's taking it really hard. The friend.
You know, my
Yeah.
feeling about that, if you want to know,
I do.
is that, and what I would tell my daughter, my firstborn, who's very, very competitive,
Mhm.
very, very driven, very grit, very like
Yeah.
does the work, over time does the work. And she didn't get something. It was like some kind of this is probably like a summer thing, internship that was really competitive.
Yeah.
And it was like around high school time. And I was like, you know what, Sophie? When one door closes, another door opens, something better is going to come along. You know, it's all about,
Hmm.
how you think about stuff like that. And
Hmm.
sure enough, something better came along. She ended up doing this immersive Persian and learned at the University of Washington when she was just a high schooler, and she took the bus every day. Like this is a long bus and
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
like a crazy bus. And because she was that kind of kid. And now we talk about that. We're like, remember when we talked about this and I said when one door closes and another door opens, if you continue to put yourself out there. And she was like, yes. And that is what she does every single freaking day. You know what I mean? It's just builds that muscle of like, hey, you know what? Not everything's going to go your way, but you got to keep trying. You got to keep putting stuff out there, putting irons
Yeah, I
in the
went
fire.
the
So
other.
I mean,
That's interesting. I went a completely different way. I said, yeah, in a way, you got one out of the way. You're at a young age, at 13. You had a massive disappointment to prepare you for the rest of your life when, the job you don't get, or the college you don't get into, or the relationship that breaks your heart, or, the loss of a pet or whatever. You're getting one out of the way right now. Good
Mhm.
for you. Toughen you up.
Well, I think they're both the same kind of thing. It's just the
Well, I
rain.
didn't,
I had a little bit of rainbow
yeah, I
on
had no
mine.
rainbow. I
You
had
had
no
no
rainbow.
rainbow,
I didn't say
and I'll
there's
take
something
it.
great coming instead. When
Oh
God
no, I
closes the
don't.
door, he opens the window. No, I didn't
No,
say
I
any of
don't
that
talk
shit.
like that to my kids. No way.
Okay.
I
All
do
right. Good.
not do that. It's
All right.
more like get your head in the game. Don't feel sorry for yourself, like that kind of
See,
stuff.
I'm the
Because
Winston Churchill of it, where he says, like, I'm paraphrasing the great man, but like that success is moving from one failure to another without any loss of enthusiasm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's this guy, this like fitness. I don't know if he's a fitness guy. I think he's a fitness. You know how there's this crossover happening where there's
Yeah.
these guys who are like fitness, but then they're also gurus, and then they
Yeah,
have
sure.
like pearls of wisdom and all that. But he's like, good. I didn't get it. Good. Good. Like
Yeah.
that fuels it.
Yeah.
And it truly does because it's like if your comfort zone truly is where your dreams go to die.
Sure.
And so
Sounds
that
like
mindset of like, good, I didn't get it. And you know that he believes that.
it sounds like Goggins. Is he a black dude, former Navy SEAL, who's a
No, I know
lunatic?
exactly Walton. No, not Walton Goggins. I know who you're
Dave,
talking about.
Dave
And
Goggins or
he
something?
is freaking hardcore.
He's good. Oh,
He
God.
is hardcore,
Yeah. Yeah.
like,
You got to
yeah.
be out there suffering. Did you suffer today? You go, I
But
maybe.
you better.
Christ almighty. Yeah. Um,
Well, you know
so
what?
anyway, good week. Good week, good week. So congrats on this what we're talking about here with the Shadow Girls. It was great teeing up that episode. It brought me back to the winter of 21, getting that show in shape. Yeah.
I know, right?
Good times.
I know.
Good times.
Hmm.
And then and for something positive to come out of it, uh I remember first when the story of the reward, the possibility, or it wasn't even the possibility of it. It was when the knowledge was made not even public, but just to our creative team that basically there was someone left behind. That this woman Rebecca played an instrumental role in the apprehension of this monster, and promises were made that were broken, and it's been 40 years.
Hmm.
And there's and that we were going to try to put a team together to make sure that happened. And I remember that. And my boss at the time, I was still at the old company. He's like, all right, we got to get our publicist on the phone and see what he wants to do. Like, how hard do we
Hmm.
press? Do we threaten to go to blah, 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 all this? Um, and then my company had bigger problems to deal with that eventually consumed it. And then it was us and Team Rebecca. So tell me about Team Rebecca. How did it start? How did you
Well,
how
it's
did you
I
first
think
hear?
I think it's funny to hear your I always love that in like a show or a documentary when it's done right, where you get the different perspectives of how things kind of landed with with the people that you're following. So that's interesting about that. Because I kind of remember us being like we were like super excited for to talk about it to like, yeah, we're gonna, had we known what we would go the gauntlet,
Yeah,
I think we would have still done it anyway, but like how did Team Rebecca get started
it was Jensen calling you,
was
wasn't it?
Jensen calling. So when I was doing the research, I knew that there was Rebecca's story and she wasn't believed.
Hmm.
And then I kind of was like, there were these buried documents. I mean, when you're doing research like this, you're often like finding one document. It's like putting a puzzle piece together, so you see one thing, but you're trying to confirm it and you're trying to put it all together. And so there was this reward and like what was going on with it. And, you get these documents from like when you make a public disclosure request, and some of them could be in those documents and some might not. So you don't get the full picture. So I was like, I was kind of had those balls in the air as I was putting it together, and I was trying to get a hold of Rebecca, and so I guess I kind of like it really started gelling once we got the call from Tom Jensen, the detective that was the person that was responsible basically for all these documents. And he was when they were gonna when the plea deal, because see, before they made the plea deal, they were planning on taking this to trial. So his job was to put probably like a million, feed them into a scanner or whatever they had back in 2001 so
Yeah.
that they could give the discovery to the defense. And so when he saw these documents coming down the pike, he was like, okay, I have to remember that she gave this tip and that I'm seeing these documents
And the tip
and,
panned out,
huh?
and the tip worked. The tip
And the
panned out.
tip worked because he
Yes.
also he also put together the document, the arrest warrant, which had her, she was an eyewitness who
Yeah.
had, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like he was seeing the whole picture and he just said, okay, I got to remember this. But he didn't have anything to do with the investigation went on so long. He never interviewed Rebecca. He never
Right.
met her.
Right.
He was doing something different. The team was huge and each one had different responsibilities
Right.
and that was not his responsibility to interview Rebecca and probably didn't even know about her until he saw these documents and then was putting it together, right?
So hold
So,
on, just get everybody up to speed. What we're talking about here, if you listen to the show, was that at the height of Gary Ridgway's reign of terror on the city, a local TV station had a telethon and like a special on TV saying, "Hey, if you know anything about this guy, call in. We're offering a reward. If you call in and you say, I want to be eligible for the reward, okay, great. You do that, we'll take your name, we'll do this, and you have to follow these steps to make sure everything is, you have to cross all the T's, dot all the I's to make sure to keep the riffraff out, basically, right? And Rebecca did all of that. And no
yeah.
one listened to her. And then years later, the information that she gave wound up, you can draw a straight line from her testimony, from that tip to the arrest of Gary Ridgway. So it was another 20, whatever, how many years later. Now we're with Tom
Yeah.
Jensen scanning all of these documents for trial, and he sees it. And he's
Hmm.
like, okay,
Hmm.
she is owed this. We need to start getting this machine rolling to get the reward that she's deserved. And
Well,
then,
he had to wait. Hold on one second. I just have to
yeah,
interrupt right there for a second because she would have been called as a witness at
right.
his trial. So if he would have called her right away at that time, that would have compromised her as a witness to the defense if she was, getting this money at
Yep.
that time.
Yep.
And
Of
plus
course.
it was like over 10 years since the reward had been offered. It was like 19 years later.
Yeah.
So that's why there was that delay because he was like, okay, once the trial is over, once he's been convicted, then I'm going to go back to this.
And then what happened?
And then he did the plea
He
deal.
just, and then, and forgot all about Rebecca.
And then he forgot. And I just have to say,
Yeah.
I've said it in I've said it before, and I think it's really important that I say it was not his job
No.
to remember this, that the county did not offer the reward. It was not the county. And so, it wasn't his job to do this. He just wanted to do it. And that's an important part of the story. So, so
Yeah,
then
but it's
fast,
also, you know how much the love I have for Tom Jensen. All
I
right.
do,
But
I do.
unfortunately, he's just another cog in this machine that
Yes.
equaled forget about Rebecca.
Yes.
He's just another one of them, even though it wasn't his job. A lot of people are saying it wasn't my job either. It wasn't my job either. No one at the TV station is going to say, oh, hey, wait. We have to give you all of this money. No one's going to do that.
Yeah.
So and that
Yeah.
was just part of the long-term fucking of Rebecca.
And let's just be clear too. When you grow up like that and
You're used to it.
you just are like you're very suspicious of everything and you're not expecting people to stand up for you, you
Yeah.
know? In fact, that's a suspicion.
But
You want something.
if anybody made up for a mistake that wasn't even his, it was Tom Jensen.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. He
Because
saw
then
it
fast
through.
forward
Yep.
to, we're
2021.
and so it
20.
comes out and that phone call with Tom was
Yep.
so
Because he was upset.
he was upset. He was
Yeah. He was
upset. He
upset
would put
about
it,
Rebecca.
it's
Yeah.
like, and listening to her, and he was so like, I can just hear it right now.
Yep.
He was like, we have our pensions. We got this glory, not glory in a gross way, but just kind of like, hey, they were able to
They got the
get
guy.
this
They did
guy.
their
They got
job.
the
Yeah.
guy. They did their job, and what comes with that, and that wasn't what he was seeking. I mean, he's actually a very like low key kind of person. But so when he's like, will you help us? I mean, of course I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yes, we put a great
Absolutely.
team together. Started, it wasn't really a full-on pressure campaign. We never got to threats or anything to their credit.
I
Bonneville
think I
never,
think that's what was great about it though,
yeah,
from my
Bonneville never said,
recollection.
no, we don't owe the money. What? Because there was a lot of legitimate business stuff that had happened and places were sold and acquired. And, we had to learn all of these weird terms like continuation of responsibility and debts and all this kind of crap. Like if you buy a company, you buy their debts, but do you or do you not? Or is this considered a debt? Is it considered a fiduciary promise? Like all of this crazy, crazy shit. And eventually they went, okay, yeah, fine. We owe her the money. Okay. What are we going to do about it? And then lawyers
Well,
get
let's
involved.
just say technically,
Mhm.
let's just say let's just give them their full due. They didn't know where the money. The statute of
That's true also.
limitations
Yes.
had long expired.
Yes.
And it's interesting because I went to this NW Cave their yearly fundraiser. It was in Vancouver, and NW Cave Northwest, or I'm sorry, it's not Northwest,
National
National
Women's.
Women's Coalition Against Violence and Exploitation, and they are hosting the Shadow Girls event, which we'll get to. And I was like, absolutely, I want to come and support Michelle and her organization and go down to Portland. And they had a speaker there, and she was really powerful. And but she said, and I'm totally not dissing on her because she was great, but she said, I'm angry. I'm angry. And we need to get angry. And when you're talking about domestic violence and you're talking about violence against women, I mean, just all of it, right? And I understand that because I've said this before, where when I was looking through the victim documents and just seeing, the James jeans and the little girls and just all this, I got angry. I got really
Yeah.
angry. I got really sad and upset. And I think that there's power in that, but really what made this work with us is not the anger, but going back to what our earlier conversation about just the stamina. We kept going back to the table. They kept meeting with us. We
Yeah.
weren't we weren't angry at them. We brought Ann Bremner, who's an amazing attorney, so we had that locked and loaded on our side, which is bringing big guns.
Yep.
And but it was always like, hey, Rebecca, let's talk about Rebecca. Let's talk about her life. Let's talk about the detectives and what they want out of this. Let's talk about, Carolyn and Brandon, Pie in the Sky. What did they want out of this? How, it was always like that. So I think especially during these times and why I think this is so important, it's that it's really not about, I think, being angry. It's about working with people and not giving up.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm most proud of because it's like,
Yeah.
we could have given up like so many times. We got busy lives and busy stuff going on all the
Yeah.
time with our families and projects and just life and bad shit and good shit. And it's like to keep doing it
Yep.
because you knew that it was the right thing to
The right thing
do.
to do. Exactly. What's right is right. She didn't have to risk her own life to identify a serial killer who was still active for a number of years after he
Yes.
knew that
Yeah.
she was the one who gave him up. And he was just
And went up to her on the strip
went up there
on Pack
on the
Highway.
strip because she went back to her profession and he was still doing what he was doing.
I
So
think.
you can imagine her life.
And she's told me that her anger is one of the things more than the reward, what made her come forward, because she
Yeah.
kept watching these news reports like
Yeah.
after it happened. So he attacked her in November of 1982, and she came forward in late 1984 when the reward was offered, right? And so she was seeing all these news reports of like, hey, if anybody knows, and like,
Yeah.
and she knew that he was out there cruising around and knew because she'd escaped him and had to, she describes their conversations together and how he was angry and how he was taking it out on all these women. And she
Yeah.
knew that. So, like, that's what made her like one of the things from her mouth, not me saying it. But then afterwards, how would that feel? Like, I've always thought, like, when she told me that she was on Pack Highway and he rolls up to her in that truck and is like, hey, you want to ride? Knowing what he did and knowing that he's getting off on that, thinking,
Yep.
nobody cares about you. It's like a double
Terrorizing her.
whammy.
Yeah. Really just intimidation and terrorizing her and just ugh. But hey, you know what? She wins.
She freaking,
She
she
wins.
wins.
She wins. He's
She
dying a
wins.
slow, painful death behind bars where he's been for
Hmm.
the last, what, 25 years now?
Hmm.
Yep.
Hmm. And here's the thing. This is what's great. We're gonna have what we wanted to talk about tonight too is that we're having an event on April 9th at the Hilton, which it couldn't be a more fitting place. It's literally right across the street from the airport, right on the where the strip was. It's now called the street. I can't remember what it's called, but it's not Pack Highway anymore. But it's right there. We're going to have everyone from Team Rebecca, Dave Reichert, Tom
Yep.
Jensen, who are the retired detectives, Ann Bremner. Brandon and I are going to be there. Rebecca is she's going to be in the audience and is really excited to be there. And um, so we're going to go over everything and just really kind of talk about the behind the scenes stuff. And we'll also have Dave Colley and who is the host of Cold, and we'll talk about the Susan Cox Powell case because Ann Bremner played a role in that case as
Yep.
well. And so anyway, it'll be full circle good.
Yes. So any Seattle listeners, April 9th, April 9th,
Hmm.
come on out. Come on out. How do they find
Yeah.
tickets? How do they find information
Yeah,
on the event?
go to yeah. I'm going to send you the link so we can include it in the show
In the show
notes.
notes. Great.
But go to NW Cave, the National Women's Coalition Against Violence and Exploitation. They should have all the details where you can buy the tickets. I think the early bird ticket pricing is $25. So,
Great.
And also Nate Eaton will be moderating it. He was
Yes.
the reporter who was the Mommy Doomsday case. He was a huge
Yeah. Nate the Great.
doing a lot of yeah.
Fantastic.
So,
Well, it'll be great. Well, we
yeah.
hope to see you guys up there April 9th. Anybody who can make it, it'll be a lot of fun. And in the
Mhm.
meantime, uh, if you haven't listened to the Shadow Girls, now's a good time. If you have, maybe revisit the show because it was a very powerful piece of journalism and storytelling with a lot of heart and a lot of, a lot of stuff that makes you shake your head and get angry, and you'll be yelling at your phone like, yeah, I can't believe that you just fucking said that, blah, 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 At least that was my reaction to a lot of the stuff that I heard. But just a wonderful piece of entertainment, a wonderful, like I said in the, well, you'll see in the show notes of the show that it's the first podcast that really gave Carolyn and her work kind of a global audience. The show opened at number 7 in the world on Apple Podcasts. So it reached a lot of people, and you'll see why when you listen to it. So go check it out. Go check it out. And
Okay.
thank you for listening here. And if you like the episode, please share it. Let everyone know about Criminal Mischief. Let everyone know about the Shadow Girls and Stolen Voices of Dole Valley, because you'll be better for exposing yourself to Carolyn's work. So, Carolyn, anything else you'd like to add?
Nope. We'll
All right.
see you. See you next
Till
time.
next time, everybody, stay safe out there.
Okay. Bye.
From Pie in the Sky Media, Criminal Mischief is an EVO production, recorded live in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. We're produced by Brandon Morgan and myself, music by Soundstripe. For EVO Creative, I'm Carolyn Ossorio, your writer, and host.